Hey there, welcome to SaaS Unbound, brought to you by SaaS Group. I'm your host, Anna Nadeina, and this is the show where we chat with inspiring founders and experts to get an inside scoop on how they made their business a success. And today with me is Daniel Fayle, a co-founder of Chekkit.io. And Chekkit is an all-in-one platform, making it easier to communicate with your customer, collect more reviews, and win more leads. They're bootstrapped all the way and rapidly growing year after year, and are determined to help small businesses conquer the online world. And we're here today to learn how exactly they are planning to do that. So Daniel, it's great to see you here.
Thanks for having me, Anna.
Awesome. Well, thank you for making the time, and let's get to it. I've read a bit about you and your background, and it's fascinating. So could you please tell about it, how you came to building Chekkit?
Yeah, so a little bit about my background. My background's in finance, actually. So that's what I majored in school, anyways. And then I went on to commercial banking, so small business banking on that side. So I don't have any formal education in software or tech or really sales, to be honest. Um, so I started on with commercial banking. I moved up north in a very small town called the Paw, and that's where I met one of my co-founders. So Miles, he was working at the mill at the time. Town's super small, so we were extremely bored. So we just started playing around with kind of building an app. It was actually quite silly. It just showed like analytics on certain like bars and restaurants. And so we kind of came up with this what we thought was a really awesome idea at the time, was just sending uh, mass promotions or texts from that business or restaurant to customers. So they would essentially walk in, sign in with through Wi-Fi. So there was two components to it, really. There was the hardware side, so there was the Wi-Fi component, and then there is the software side of things. So the customer would come into the business or restaurant, they would sign in through Wi-Fi, they would give a piece of contact information. It would be their email, but mostly we tried to focus on SMS. And then the business could actually send out coupons or discounts or promotions or just different events that were going on to drive sales. So that was kind of the um, first product with Checkit. And then so we came back to Winnipeg. At the time, I ended up quitting my job and kind of going full time into this, probably a little bit naively, not knowing. I just thought it was a great opportunity. And then, yeah, we started working with a bunch of different restaurants and just hospitality. So we're just focused on that. Honestly, not really knowing what we were doing at the time, and just was doing some door to door sales, which is pretty old school. And then so we got a bunch of restaurants, had some traction there, and then from that, like the first product was great. You could send out texts from promotions, drive new sales for that business, and that was a great product to start with. But the one question we really kept getting was like, hey, can you help us with reviews? So we weren't really from what I remember, we weren't really that excited about the review side of things. We thought the product we were building was really cool. But we looked into and did some research. And one of my co-founders did a lot of research on that side and kind of stumbled almost accidentally on the review management space. Like we just found out like, wow, this is a huge space, huge opportunity. So they're asking the general managers, hey, can you just like aggregate or have all our reviews on one dashboard so we can respond? So we don't have to spend so much time going to Google or Facebook or TripAdvisor, all these different platforms and just responding.
Right.
Um, and then
Makes sense.
realized that, the review management space is massive, but local businesses across all verticals really have a universal challenge of um, getting great reviews, responding to reviews. And then on the consumer side, it's really just a universal language of, that's how they search these days. That's how they kind of gauge or judge a business online is like, oh, go check out the reviews or check out what other people are saying about them. So that's really today people's brand that, so um, and so yeah, we got
Right.
into the review side of things and then kind of built out from there.
Okay. Well, it sounds amazing. Like we got bored and people got bored, people go to, I don't know, play bowling. You went and built an app. So that sounds too easy. So, walk us through a little bit like the first steps because I think this is the most fascinating thing. So, how did you start? What did you start with? Was it a no code since you have no prior tech experience, or was it something else, or maybe you just outsourced this to a software developer?
Yeah, so we started with a developer I actually knew. So that was kind of just building this first app that really had nothing to do with Checkit at the time, and that was the app that we were playing around with. When we started out with the building Checkit, essentially, I actually just sent off an email to a professor, and he was like, "Hey, I got a contact for someone that is an engineer." And so I just shot off an email, essentially met at a coffee shop with both of them, pitched the idea, because Miles and myself, we don't write code, we don't know anything on that side. So we're like, if we're gonna build something, we need to go find some engineers, someone to write this code. So I just shot off a cold email. It ended up working out. So met at a coffee shop, pitched the idea. They were both on board, and those are our two technical co-founders. They're phenomenal. So super talented, and we
Okay.
got pretty lucky.
Okay, so right place at the right time. It's kind of a bit of a momentum there. So let's go
For
from
sure.
there. Let's go into selling the product, and we're talking Winnipeg or even smaller towns in Canada, right? So selling door to door. What does it mean, and how do you do that? Because well, you cannot really scale that, right? So how do you get to a lot of sales?
Yeah, again, when we started out, no background in this and really had no clue what we were doing. So the easiest, I think at the time, especially since we didn't have, like, we're not backed by VC, we don't have a ton of money at the time behind us. And the easiest thing was really to get in our cars, essentially. We had business cards and we had brochures, and we would just go to different restaurants, different local businesses and pitch. So we started out just in Winnipeg, and then, did that for a while, for a couple months, kind of what we thought kind of exhausted uh, this city. Me and my co-founder went to Calgary for the summer and then did door-to-door sales there. That was kind of a fun experience when I look back. It's pretty comical. But yeah, we just, like, same thing, just business cards, brochures, went and pitched the businesses. So we were able to get traction there. Of course, that's not really scalable. So then at the time when we were doing that, um, the nights we kind of used to do some research and, like, okay, how can we scale this thing? How can we, um, go from door to door, old school sales to, like, actually transitioning this online? So that's when we kind of stumbled upon the different channels that we could use. So we kind of dabbled in, like, Google ads, Facebook, Instagram ads, um, that being very expensive. So one of them was
Yeah, how did it work for you?
yeah, so that we couldn't really afford, to be honest. That was just a really expensive way to acquire customers. So kind of naturally, we looked at the ways that were easy, just like obviously referral based. When we were to get a customer, ask for referrals, have a great method to get referrals. Cold email has always been the core of really like our sales. So we use cold email. We got really, really good at pitching, like, just through cold email, um, and acquiring customers there. So that was kind of the channel that really took off and helped us acquire a lot of customers. And then And then we've kind of just built out over the years. Just we had a white label solution, so marketing companies can come in, slap their logo, their branding on our software, and offer it to their customers as a value add or just in general. So that was great. The affiliate side of things. So we have affiliate marketing program right now, so people can make reoccurring revenue off of every single sale. So I think we're giving 30%. So it's a decent chunk of money every month. So people are motivated through that. So that's worked out good. And then we just built out like kind of channel after channel over the years. So, but the main one was really the cold email, obviously the cold pitches in person, stuff like that. So that just really helped us get traction and scale to start.
That's very interesting. I think it's important to just explore everything out there and then just figure out what works best, but maybe not abandon the other channels altogether. So cold emails, and again, very interesting thing. Like a lot of people say that first of all, like door to door sales, super old school, don't work
Mhm.
anymore. Cold emails, no one wants to answer cold emails, right?
Mhm.
So you guys made it work. Spill the beans. What's the trick there? How did you make it work? What's so unique about your cold email strategy?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really unique about it, to be honest. I think it's just, we do it at scale, to be honest. And I guess there probably is some tricks here and there, but a lot of it's just getting really good at, um, copywriting, just like when you're writing out the emails. We've personalized all the emails. So that's a huge thing. A lot of people send out, you'll get the canned emails and you can tell. And sometimes they have like the variable and it's not even like attached. So it'll be like, hi, first name, and then they'll send out and it doesn't even have the person's first name attached. So I mean, you probably got those. Everyone's got those, but
Yeah, I have a
personalization
few.
personalization and trying to do them at scale is a big thing, and I think it's really overlooked. Like, it's not just about like adding their name to the email. It's, like actually looking them up, actually doing a little bit of research. One thing that really helped us too was attaching videos. So just doing like quick, like 10-second, 20-second, 30-second video. But again, if I said like, hey Anna, how's it going? And just did a quick video and, sent you that 15 seconds, you're more inclined to be like, okay, they actually did some research. That company, is obviously targeting or pitching their product with some context behind it. This probably can benefit me or help me, instead of just sending out a blast that's just like, hey, use our product. Right. And
Right.
really showing that like you care about their business and trying to add value to their business versus just kind of like me.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's nothing.
oh
I don't think
well,
it's anything special we've done, but
just earlier, a couple of hours ago, there was a conversation on LinkedIn, and it got like a ton of comments, like this generic term, like "hope this email finds you well," and then like this is just, oh my god, yeah, well, sure, it finds me, so and the
yeah.
trick there, yeah, we also discussed that just looking up a person and saying, hey, I saw your latest article, or like I saw what you're doing with your restaurant, or like I don't know, I went there a couple
Mhm.
of weeks ago, it was awesome. Sure, personalization is great. So yeah, I think it's not a trick, but not everyone uses it, obviously.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about the product itself. What's Chekkit? What if I am a restaurant owner in Winnipeg? How do I use you guys?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways. One of them, so two big problems that we solve is helping businesses. So we work in a bunch of different verticals. Dental, restaurants is actually like our smallest vertical, which is funny, a little bit ironic. But like jewelry stores, auto collision, dealerships, stuff like that. Any local business really. But number one problem we solve is helping businesses get found online through reviews. So Google reviews, Facebook reviews, having a ton of good testimonials and customer feedback online. So that's, helping the business stand out online when consumers are doing that research is huge. Having that social proof. So that's number one, is just through reviews and having a really stellar online reputation, getting found. And then number two would be helping local brands and businesses create a very convenient experience. So taking out as much friction as possible from the buying experience, the buyer journey. So when they find you through your reviews and just online, Google is kind of the news, especially since COVID, is the new storefront, really, right? So they hit your website. We have a product called Web Chat. Web Chat engages them right away, makes it very personal, so they can actually text the business right away, ask questions about a product, service. So it just makes it very convenient. They can find them online, hit their website, chat with them through text message, which is awesome. And then we've gone a step further in that process where now we have text to pay. So business can send out a quick invoice. They can pay it Apple Pay, Google Pay, any major credit card, just making it super convenient to make a purchase online, kind of like that that Amazon convenient experience. That's what our goal is to help local businesses. But you can do things like hop on a video call, so in-store shopping experience, or just for like service upgrades and stuff like that, or updates, sorry, for jewelry shops or stores, collision centers. But then we also have built into our platform, which is very powerful, this omni-channel experience where you have Google My Business messages, Facebook messages for the business. Instagram is obviously huge these days. People are addicted to Instagram. So we have all the direct messages going there, text messages. We can make your landline textable. So web chat. So all those different channels is just inside Chekkit. So like any channel that's coming from Google or Facebook or Instagram or text is all going to one platform, making it convenient for the business, but also for the consumer. So if the consumer finds it, if they want to send you a message on Instagram, great. You don't have to go to Instagram and check that on the business side, or then you have to pop over to your Facebook account, pop over to your Google My Business messages, your website messages, your website forms. So all those things are just built in to Chekkit to make that experience, again, convenient on both sides for the business and the consumer.
From this first stages that you were talking about, when it was just SMS, you added a lot of features. So how does it work? Are they coming from your customers or maybe from competitor research? So how do you make sure that something is going to be built?
Yeah. So all of our features that we built out are, I would say pretty much all of them, or a good chunk of them, are just from customer feedback. So early on, as we said, when we built out this mass texting solution and product, we thought that was really, really cool, and that was like the end all be all. And then we found out that reviews were actually a lot more important to these restaurants at the time and these businesses. So we kind of pivoted our like core, just like offering and just kind of our pitch to businesses. And so getting that feedback early on and realizing how important that was, and pardon me, and how that gave us a lot of traction, kind of like stuck with us long term, and kind of been the DNA of Chekkit, like just like asking for feedback. What could you guys use? So all the features that we have has really been from people asking, hey, because we didn't have Instagram built in, we didn't have Facebook built in, we didn't have Google My Business messages built in, we didn't have an option to hop on video calls or a text to pay option. So all these things came from customers, like, hey, do you have the ability to do this? Can you do this? And then, of course, there's a lot of smaller features that I really haven't gone over, but all of that's been from just asking customers. So
how do you make sure that you're not just building everything, like whatever a customer wants,
Yeah.
but actually go like and research and make sure that it's not just one customer, people actually would benefit from it.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have like we have a software that we just project management software essentially that all the feedback that we get, like we'll proactively go ask for like we'll go ask like what they want in terms of features or what they could utilize and stuff like that. But a lot of it's reactive too. Like a lot of it just comes in and people ask us through emails and stuff like that. So we have a spot for it that we constantly on the dev side monitor and kind of go, okay, well, 45 businesses asked for this feature. And so then we'll do a little bit more research. Do we think this feature would be great for what our vision is and what we're trying to build? But the playbook's been really simple on that side where like if we have 100 businesses asking for it, well, it must be a feature that people want, so let's build it out. Versus like, of course we have there's a lot of features that are um, listed that we have that we're looking at, but like one business has asked for it, right? A small example would be we work with a lot of insurance companies, and um, they needed an option to download the conversation to PDF for their regulations on the insurance side. So it was something that it can't be manipulated. The conversations, they need to have that for records. Again, that's baked into their regulations and what they need to have for their business. So every insurance company that we worked with was asking for that feature, and we're like, "Hey, we have to build this out. Like, they need this. Like, every insurance companies ask for this, so let's get this going." So
Okay. All right. That's very interesting. Let's move on a little bit into scaling. Right. And obviously, you started as far as I understand, it was you and two or three more co-founders.
yeah, it's myself and three other co-founders.
Three other co-founders. All right. So, how long did it stay like that? And at what point did you start getting more hires? And who was your first hire and why?
Yeah, our first hire. So it was four of us, probably for, geez, I honestly can't remember. Maybe I
Too
know for,
long? Everyone says too long.
I know for at least a year, probably 2 years. Yeah, let's go with maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Our first hire was, I think would have been on the sales side at the time. So we hired a couple of salespeople. We thought that would help us scale, which did. Um, at the time it was good. I think that definitely helped us a little bit. But what we realized, I would say our first true hire was on the customer success side, customer support. So we were doing okay on the sales side, the way I see it, and just customer support was, you know, I would say Miles and myself weren't amazing at it, and we were just so focused on the sales side, where we didn't really have a lot of that. Pardon me, that organizational piece and the customer support side. So when we hired, it was customer support that helped us scale because they could take on the onboardings, and all the new customers.
Okay. Yeah, I can feel like this is becoming a trend. Everyone that comes to the podcast says that, the first hire was customer support. It's the most important one. It's
Yeah,
probably the easiest to fill and makes your customers feel a lot better right away.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so what changed? How did you decide that customer support is something that you need, and how do you go about it right now? Are there more people in customer support? Is it
Mhm.
your primary focus right now, or how do you do it?
Yeah, we've built out quite a bit in the last couple of years. So we have a whole team on the customer support side. We just built out a pretty sizable, well, for our size anyways, on the sales side. So we have a sales team, dev team, And so right now we're kind of in the last probably like 6, 7 months in a really good position to kind of scale it. So um, I'm not really doing a whole lot of sales anymore, and neither is Miles. And so again, yeah, we have the dev side, customer support side, which is, all really, really talented people. And then on the sales side, again, I think we got kind of lucky in the talent pool side. So a lot of rock stars on the sales side. So it's been good.
That's great. Okay, so what changed for you as a founder since you started scaling? Right? How did you approach this new role, the bigger company, and the fact that you're bootstrapped? And I really want to focus on that a little bit. So how did you decide that you're going to be bootstrapped? Because you're growing, right? As far as I remember from the article, it's like
Mhm.
30% each year. Or is it
Yeah, it's
more?
been a little bit more than that.
Okay.
The last couple of years, we've actually grown 100%, kind of year over
Okay.
year for a
Oh,
while.
wow.
And I think this year we'll probably be on track to hopefully do something similar, at least 50%. So, but it's probably going to be
Awesome.
closer to 100% again. Um,
Awesome. So, how did you adjust to that as a founder?
yeah, I think a lot of it has been just not working in the business, working on the business. So in the last, year, it's nice because, instead of working on sales or doing demos and stuff like that, we can really kind of take a step back and analyze different customer acquisition channels. So that, you know, with that, it's just really allowed us to look at, like, the affiliate marketing program and getting that off the ground. Right now, we're kind of just started, or, I wouldn't say just starting, but really getting the SEO stuff off the ground, doing a lot of content on our social platforms. So really just kind of taking a step back and looking, working on the business and rather than in the business, if that makes sense, which has been a great opportunity. So
And apart from this growth, you still decided to be fully bootstrapped, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. Sorry,
why
that was your.
so? Why not just go and race around and go to the moon?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, there's probably a lot of different ways I can go with that. When we started out being in Winnipeg, uh, and you know, for sure Winnipeg, I wouldn't categorize all Canada like that, but like it's a little bit the environment's a little bit different than, let's just say, in the US. Like people aren't you're not going to a coffee shop and they're just writing you checks, like $1 million checks, and pre revenue, So when we started, really we didn't, because we didn't have a network or any of that. It wasn't really an option, and it was quite a bit tougher to raise, especially if you're like pre-product, pre-revenue. Even if you have a little bit of traction, it's quite a bit tougher out here. But so I think we kind of stumbled on it. It was really like, okay, we don't have a choice. We can't really raise. um, and then when we did get traction, we had those opportunities and they opened up. And um, you know, thinking about it, like when you look at companies like Qualtrics, the co-founder there, Ryan Smith, he's made some comments. He bootstrapped for about a decade, and they're like a multi-billion-dollar company. And I truly think businesses like that have done it the right way. I think if you go out there and get money too soon, before you can kind of scale to at least like 5, 10, $20 million, um, it's just a little bit tougher. And I think looking back, I think we got lucky just kind of falling into building it and being profitable from the start. So we didn't have the option be you know about being capital inefficient or just spending money on things that we didn't know that was going to work out. We had to be absolutely sure, like all the time, and even today. So that's really helped us, and just like again, going back to the culture of the company and the DNA, that's kind of who we are now. But yeah, I think at the start we fell into it, and then we had the opportunities, and then kind of made more of a conscious decision to kind of stay bootstrapped and just be profitable from our customers, and that has really been a competitive edge against really a lot of the market and just who we compete against, because we can set prices. So um, if we have probably the most economical prices in the space right now, or at least one of them. But if we ever needed to, match prices or drop prices, or um, anything like that, it's just allowed us that flexibility, if that makes sense. So.
Right. No, absolutely. When you're bootstrapped, it's a little bit different just because like you said, you have to be very careful with where the money goes and about your
Mhm.
cash flow.
Yeah, I mean, when you're bootstrapped, you eat what you kill. So,
Yeah, exactly.
and yeah, but I mean, bootstrapping is the great part about it is it causes a lot of constraint, and you know, when there's that constraint, you have to get really creative, and again, you have to be pretty detail oriented with where the money's going and how you're spending it and how you're acquiring customers and all the rest. So, a lot of it's just a good thing.
Right. But how do you also deal with the fact that, maybe it's not growing as fast as you want it to, or as fast as you plan to?
Mhm,
Um, so how do you make sure not only you but also the team that you're working with is on
mhm.
the same page?
I don't think we've ever really thought about or been too frustrated on the not growing as fast as we wanted to. Like for being bootstrapped and what we're doing, we've grown pretty. We've done great actually over the last 3 years on the growth side. Um, and sorry, what was the second part to the question?
How do you how do you make sure that the team is also okay with this constraint and the fact that you kind of have to be a little bit scrappy and maybe a bit more creative to about your growth strategy, your marketing strategy? It's not
Mhm,
just okay, let's go and buy thousands of different ads on Facebook.
mhm. I wouldn't word it like we've had to like deal with anything, or like I haven't really seen any like issues on that side in terms of the team or any comments or anything like that. And I think part of the reason is like, again, we got really good at kind of mastering the customer acquisition channels that we have. And so on the sales side, like there's tons of leads. Like no one's complaining on the sales side. Um, so in general, like on the sales and growth and stuff, like we've just mastered those channels, and I think that's really helped us. On that side of things, like no one's sitting around going like, okay, there's no leads coming in. We need to do some more advertising or anything like that. Um, but I think, yeah, from the start, we have a couple of managers that have done a really good job as well, um, as our CEO, just like having creating that culture for the company, I guess, and everyone kind of being on the same page. So what we're trying to do and who we are, and again, how we help our customers on really any angle, whether it's sales or customer support or taking feature requests and stuff like that on the dev side. So,
That's awesome. No, I love how happy you seem about this lifestyle business that you've built. That's it doesn't happen very often. So it's good to see that for a change. So what has been let's talk a little bit about challenges. I mean there must have been something. So what has been the biggest challenge so far?
the biggest challenge, um, that's a good question. Nothing's really coming to my head. The biggest challenge, I think, well, right now, I mean, there's biggest challenge ever. It's probably different than biggest challenge right now. Biggest challenge right now would probably be just keeping up with all the on the dev side with all the feature requests and stuff that people are asking. Um, I think that's probably our biggest challenge right now. So we're actually looking at doing some hiring on the dev side of things. So that's our challenge right now,
I'll put a link
anyways. Okay. Yeah.
under the podcast. Yeah,
Please
so
apply.
please apply. Yes. Okay, so what was the biggest challenge ever? Or I don't know. Give me something. What was the biggest failure?
Yeah, biggest challenge ever. It's probably sounds a little bit cliche or just um I think one of them for sure was just getting the initial traction. It's tough when you're going out and trying to get some initial traction with customers, trying to get over that hump. Even as we roll like new services, like people always ask for, okay, do you have testimonials? Do you have the reviews? Do you have all this stuff to back it up? So I think at the start, that was probably our biggest challenge, just trying to get off the ground and trying to get our first couple customers, because everyone always asks, okay, what customers are you working with? Well, when you start out, nobody. So,
Did you lie? Did
um,
you say just your neighbors?
you know what? We got lucky. We just went with people we knew. Well, a lot of it was just like walking in, and we cold pitched a few restaurants that happened to work out, and then, um, at the time I knew like a family friend. I would say a dentist. So we got in on that side, that vertical, and then kind of just kept going with it. But they were tough questions to answer at the time, like how many, even today, but it's got a lot easier today where people are like, how many jewelry stores do you work with? How many? But when you start out, the answer is always going to be none. So
You just have
I
to
guess I guess that's the
learn to
biggest
live with
challenge.
it.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. What was the biggest win?
biggest win, I would say. Well, I don't know about biggest win ever, but biggest win, lately has just been, I think, overall having, because we did hiring on the customer support side and the sales side, and just like, I honestly, our whole team is just like crushing it. Like, and I know that's so general, but just having everybody kind of, you know, understand what they're doing, being happy with what they're doing. I know a lot of tech companies, and you hear things when you're talking to founders or you're talking to other people that you're account executive somewhere doing customer success at another tech company, and a lot of them just don't. They seem stressed and kind of like unhappy. And I think our biggest win right now for sure, and maybe just in general, is like our whole team seems to be super happy. Like the sales super happy with their job and what they're doing, and they're excited, and on the customer support side and on the dev side, and yeah, I think just the whole team just seems to be um, happy with their job and what they're doing and their lifestyle, and having a remote first kind of lifestyle, and then they can come into the office. We have a nice office. They can come in if they want. So I think that's a huge win. I think that's undervalued too, in a lot of companies, that people are all kind of like hire and fire. If you work out, great. If you don't, and I think we're
Yeah.
kind of the opposite. We're trying to build something that people want to come in and actually work and have fun, you know, uh, during the day. It shouldn't be super stressful, so.
Definitely. Definitely apply. They're building a culture.
Yeah.
People are happy there. Cool. Okay. So there was one thing I noticed, and this is something new that you guys are rolling out.
Mhm.
It's a service, a new service that you're offering to
Mhm.
your customers. So let's discuss it a little bit. And how are you planning? Usually, the stories are, people were in service business and going product,
Yeah.
to kind of scale it, and kind of be away from the day-to-day operation. You kind of went the opposite way. So
Mhm.
why are you doing it? Why offering a service?
Yeah, so we've just gotten a lot of, like people have asked us over the years, like, do you offer local SEO? Do you offer content creation via blogs? Do you offer, some website upgrades, hosting, social media management? Um, so our software touches on a lot of those things. Obviously on the social side of things, our software touches on, of course, it has a lot to do with the website and having web chat and making your website interactive. Um, and on the SEO side, well, local SEO, a lot of it is just getting really good reviews on Google and Facebook and all these different niche review platforms. So our software kind of touches on a lot of these things, but a lot of our customers are saying, you know what, I have someone doing our website design and, upgrades on our website, someone hosting it. I have someone else doing our social media management. I have somebody else doing, you guys are doing the software side of things. Um, Someone doing SEO. So they have all these different companies, doing these things for them and helping them out on the marketing side. But a lot of them just what they say, the feedback we're getting is like, it'd be nice to have it under one roof, just to call one business. Okay, you guys are looking after our local SEO, you're hosting our website, you can do some micro updates and designs. Our socials, you guys are doing our social media management on Instagram and Facebook and all these platforms. But also we're using you guys already for the software side of things. So just having, so getting that feedback, we kind of thought, let's roll this out just in beta and see what that looks like, and offer it up to our clients, which we're doing now. And we've got some good traction. People are excited. But also when we were rolling this out, or, one of the things we thought about was, and kind of the core to Chekkit and our offerings is this, like, trying to be as affordable as possible with, because we know if you go to an SEO company, it's like they always say, oh, 2, 3, 4, $5,000, maybe more a month. As social media management is, again, some people hire a person doing that in house, or they have to pay a couple grand or whatever. So we just came up with packages that we thought were super affordable, kind of like our software is. And people have been asking and been like, holy smokes, this is a lot cheaper. And so we ended up rolling that out essentially.
Okay, so again, the same story, right? You listen to your customers and then you just give them whatever they wanted. Okay, just a couple more questions, and I'll let you go to your next podcast. I know there is one. What's the most inspirational part of the business? What makes you get up happy?
Get up happy. Yeah, honestly, just helping these local businesses out, like just being able to and work with not just like one small niche vertical, but working with a ton of different verticals, jewelry shops, auto collision, dental, anything on the medical side. So just being able to work with all these different businesses, see their challenges, see their needs, and being able to kind of fulfill that. And again, just working with a great team, just getting up, working with an awesome team every day. So those are kind of the two things that keep me going.
Okay, so just one more. So, who would be the person that you would absolutely love to work with? Maybe, I don't know, maybe a celebrity, maybe someone from the business world. Who would it be? Who inspires you?
uh, to work with, yeah, I don't know. It'd be cool to meet like someone like Phil Knight, the founder of
Okay.
Nike. So that
All right.
his
Why
story is
him?
pretty. His story is pretty inspirational. Um, if you're looking for a good read, go read Shoe Dog. It's a really good book.
I
And
did.
kind of, oh, you did? Okay.
I did.
Yeah, the stories in there are just pretty wild, that and kind of the all the things he had to go through to kind of build that company is outstanding. It's phenomenal. So
yeah, it's also very interesting to just look back and see how different it was back then.
oh yeah,
So yeah,
things have changed for sure. But
absolutely.
yeah, I would say if I could meet somebody in the business world, it would be him. There's obviously a bunch of others, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a great choice. Yeah, and the book is great. Yeah, I'm there with you. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you for sharing that and sharing your story. It's great. I mean, like I said, you seem very happy and very content with what you're building. So, yeah, thanks for walking us through the story of Chekkit. And I really hope I'll get to hear some more about you and the company.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me on, Anna.
Thank you and take care.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks.